Hello, welcome to the Powerfish Podcast. I'm Ben.
I'm Fish, and I am tired.
Just
Like a
listen,
lot.
just listen to you.
Listen to me. Listen to me. That's one thing I wanted to ask you. So like I know we've talked about this a little bit, when we're out on the road. But like what is insomnia? And do I have it? Because I feel like I don't have it, but I also feel like I
Why do you think you
can't sleep
don't have it? First of all,
because
first, no,
because
well, just for people who are listening, first, why do you think you do have it? And
well, the
then,
reason I feel like I do have
yeah.
it is squarely because I can't get to sleep ever. And I feel like I wake up very easily.
So when you do fall asleep, you're super light sleeper.
So, like, here's an example. So, I had work yesterday, and the night before that, I went to bed at not super late, not super early. It was probably like 10. That's not great for when having to get up at 6:30 or whatever. But yeah, I went to bed at like 10, and I was laying there in bed, like just trying to sleep. And I thought, like we had talked about, you don't want to be staying in bed too long doing nothing. So I was like, all right, it's maybe been an hour. Like I gotta check the time and see what's going on because like I don't know. Check the time. It was 3 o'clock in the morning.
What?
Yeah, it was 3 a.m. And I was like, well, is there any point in sleeping at this point? Like it was 3 o'clock in the morning. It felt like it had been an hour. But I know I didn't sleep because I didn't sleep. I just nothing happened. I
Well,
I thought maybe
there's a thing called non-sleep deep rest. That's I don't really know a whole lot about that, but it's deep rest but non-sleep. It's exactly what it sounds like. But like I don't know if that helps contribute to like what actual like deep and REM cycles contribute to. I don't know if it like actually helps with recovery.
I don't know because it's weird because there are some times where that exact situation will happen, and I'll wake up and I'll just be a crock of shit all day walking around. And then there are some days that it'll happen, and that exact situation will happen, and I'll wake up honestly like yesterday, and I'm more or less fine. I'm definitely tired, more tired than usual, but I feel like I got at least 6 hours of sleep, and I didn't. I got like an hour, maybe.
Well, that can happen by just waking up at the correct time in a sleep cycle. If you wake up in the middle of REM sleep, you're already like close to awake. If you wake up in the middle of deep sleep, that's the like a train just hit you feeling. So and it could be your first freaking sleep cycle. It doesn't matter how much sleep you actually got, depending on the way you feel when you wake
Yeah.
up.
But that's the reason I feel like I do have insomnia is because I have a lot of trouble getting to sleep, and I feel like generally speaking, once I'm asleep, I don't have too much problem staying asleep. But I am a very light sleeper, so I can be pulled out of it very easily. The reason I don't feel like I have insomnia is just in general, I don't like applying blanket terms to myself without
I don't
a
like
diagnosis.
self-diagnosis
But
either.
I mean, I feel like I fit the bill a little bit for
Hmm.
something like that.
Interesting. There is in a podcast I've been recently listened to with Matt Walker. One of the things he said he did to treat insomnia patients was he in fact deprived them of sleep and gave them a super small window that they were allowed to be in bed for, like a 5 hour window or a 6 hour window. And this wasn't actually hurting them because they weren't getting that sleep anyway.
Yeah, it was just continuing to hurt them.
Right. It was just continuing to hurt them, but this time only in a set 6 hour period. Yeah. So what happened of over several months' time was their brain and body eventually just like got the hint that this is their only opportunity to get recovery. So it started forcing more recovery in that short amount of time. And then he'd over time just start gradually adding like 15 minutes or 30 minutes to the time that they're allotted to be in bed. And that was a pretty like proven clear way to help with insomnia, but also outside of that, if some people like don't have an actual insomnia diagnosis with an actual disorder, one thing that helps with sleep is just straight up regularity, going to sleep and waking up at
Right.
the same time.
Right. Which I mean, with the new job, I mean that's definitely been better. I would say I go to bed between 9:30 and 10:30, and then I wake up for between 6:45 and 7. That's
And
like my window.
that's I that's like
Yeah,
fine.
that's a fine window.
Yeah.
Feels like I'm taking up my entire
But
evening, but you know.
you still have random, what is it, random nights where you go to bed and then realize it's time to get up and you haven't fallen asleep yet? Is it
I feel like it's kind of random because like I mean every now and then that I'll like do something that will be like, well, that's freaking why I had caffeine too late, or I had a big meal right before I went to bed or something like that. Every now and then something like that happens,
sometimes
or I
it's
forgot to
obvious.
turn on my or like I forgot to turn on my blue light blocker on my computer,
Right.
and I was getting fricked for an hour extra, something
Hmm.
like that. But like, but even if it's not that, sometimes it just kind of happens.
I don't know.
It's a weird situation.
I mean, I don't, that makes me think I don't really know how insomnia works. Feel like it's a thing that is just kind of persistent, not something that randomly happens some nights or others. If it's happening irregularly, it would make you think that there's something you're doing to cause it, but I don't know
Right.
what that might be.
My cat is screaming outside the door, by the way. I don't know if my gate can my the gate on my microphone can cover it up, but if you hear a kitty cat,
Screaming.
uh, yeah, just ignore
I was
that.
at this
It's hard to do.
I was at this dude's house last week, and this cat literally, when the door is shut, yells on the outside of the door and sticks his paw underneath the door to try and, I don't know, reach the doorknob or something to get in.
That's
your
his cat. It just
Yeah, your
he's
cat's
a,
freaking crazy.
he's a gremlin. He's a menace to society.
Yeah, if he walks up to you, you just look into his eyes and you know he's planning something. He's yeah. You were saying
We
that he's
have
just got
yeah.
that face.
He's got that face, and I don't think my girlfriend, who this is her cat, she doesn't see it that way. She's just like, "Oh, he's my baby," and I'm
No,
like,
no.
he's a freaking mass murderer. I
He's
swear
got
to
her
God.
got is what he's doing. He's got her
Yeah,
got and he's just planning. He's scheming.
yeah.
And
I don't fuck
you're
around
the
with that
only
cat.
thing between that cat and infinite desire.
Exactly. I look at him, and he'll just like stare at me like angrily, and I'll just be like, "Cat, move! Like get out of my way! You're in the middle of the doorway. Move!" And he just looks at me like, "No."
No.
I'm asking you nicely a second time. You need to move. It's time to move. Move. And he's just like, no. And he knows exactly what I'm saying to him. And then I don't kick him. I just go to like kind of nudge him with my foot to get him out of the way. He hates that. And then he'll like latch onto my foot and then start trying to bite me. Then he gets kicked, right? Because fuck that thing.
They're probably
But
just nibbles. I doubt he actually tries to like
oh,
bite you.
he fucking bites me. I swear to God. He has bit my foot before. But yeah, he gets mad. He starts screaming. He's like, "Rah!" And then latches onto my foot. And I'm like, well, bitch, I asked you, and you knew what I was talking about.
Are you sure he knew? He's a cat.
He's smart enough to know. He's a menace. He's not stupid. He's just a menace.
He's a villain.
He is. But yeah, sleep. I don't know what the problem is. I that is not the reason I'm tired today. The reason I'm tired today is because I went and had a 4th of July party last night. And then my girlfriend and I decided, you know what would be a great idea now that it's really late in the evening, we're both already tired. Let's go see a movie.
What? How
Yeah,
late
we
did
went
you
and
go
saw
see the movie?
the showtime was 10:10.
That's, I guess that's not the latest for him. That's pretty late.
Yeah, no, it was super late. A good movie.
Yeah, what'd you watch?
We saw we saw Quiet Place day one.
I still haven't even seen the second Quiet Place movie, dude. I
They're
freaking
good,
loved
dude.
the first one. I watched
They're
the first
freaking
one.
good.
So I got my first, I guess, quote unquote girlfriend. I was dating her for a year, but she lived in Nashville, Tennessee. And
As they do.
I say quote unquote because the vast majority of the relationship was online. And I went to Nashville and we saw this movie. That was where I had my first kiss. I think I was like 15 or something.
Disgusting
Yeah. We
terms.
kissed in the Quiet Place movie.
It's a scary movie to be kissing in.
Uh yeah. It was I mean it wasn't as far as horror movies go, I mean it wasn't a super like scary movie.
I never saw Quiet Place as a horror franchise. I always thought of it more of like a suspense or thriller franchise.
It's I think
It's not.
it's
I don't
probably
think it's.
I think it's probably more like a thriller, a
It's
suspense.
it's very much like they have jump scares, but it's not
I
relying
mean
on it.
the first movie I'm pretty sure was pretty clearly advertised as a horror movie. That's what we were going in to watch.
Yeah,
At least that's how I remember it
but it
forever
was.
ago.
But the whole thing about that whole entire franchise, the premise of why it exists in like the horror space, is because the characters have to be quiet. So that makes the entire movie quiet, which means like
How
you
oh
can really
my
focus in on
god.
the suspense.
Yeah, have you seen like waveform um like waveform clips? Not waveform the Mark Ass Brownlee podcast, but just a wave like if you dragged the entire movie into like Audacity and looked at the waveform, it's like flat for most of the movie. There's very few parts where
Yeah.
there's actually like audio, which is sick. That's such a cool
Yeah.
movie.
It's such a cool concept, and you and
Yeah.
I both know that there are a lot of people out there that are uncomfortable with silence, and that is most of that movie.
Yeah. That I mean, shoot, throw those people into a movie like that. Absolutely mortifying, scariest movie ever.
Listen, I don't have a problem with silence, but like,
I
eh,
actually
I,
prefer it.
but I will say that like when we were watching the movie last night, and you're in a room full of people and it's dead silent, it does get a little like tense. It's just like, oh,
Yeah, I haven't even seen
it's
the
really
second
odd.
one though yet, and I want to. I just freaking haven't because I don't watch movies.
I recommend
The
it.
only thing I've stuck with watching is The Boys TV show.
I have not seen any of
I saw
that.
the
People
first three
recommend
seasons.
it.
Dude, it is so freaking hilarious. It's one of the funniest shows I've watched. That's so many memes, very clippable. It's just it's a funny ass show. And they're starting to release the episodes for season 4, which I haven't started watching, but I highly recommend. It's a hilarious show. It's also extremely like extremely brutal. It's like Mortal Kombat,
What do
basically.
they do? Like, maybe I don't know this. Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
What are you
What
thinking of? What do you think The Boys is?
you know what I was thinking of? I was thinking of the TV show The Ranch. That's what I was thinking of.
I don't even know what that is.
It's with it's with Ashton Kutcher and that guy that went to jail for touching women inappropriately or something.
That really narrows it down.
Danny Masterson. That's who it was. The other
Danny and
guy.
Masterson?
And they were both on that 70s show back in the 90s, ironically.
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like The Boys.
I don't know why that was what I was thinking of whenever you brought it up, but yeah, that's I don't know anything about the boys then.
It's basically like a superhero universe, like a Marvel or a DC, except when Superman shoots his lasers at someone, it actually does what you would expect a million degree laser to do to someone.
Oh, I've seen
It's
like posters of this.
yeah, it's a freaking hilarious show. It's I, I'd recommend. But that's the only thing I've actually like consistently kept up with watching, just because it's pretty addicting. That show
I
is.
mean, watching like shows and stuff is such a time commitment,
I know it's a time commitment for no personal gain, really.
except for the joy gain part.
It's
Gain joy.
entertainment. There's something to say for
Yeah.
that. It's entertainment, but like entertainment that I could instead be doing progressing in a freaking I don't know in a video game. Not that that's a much better use of time, but
That's one thing
I
that
get the
yeah.
feeling of I'm completing something at least or
That's
getting
that's one
better
thing
at
that
something.
bothers me about in general people that look down on entertainment. It's like you hear people say like, "Oh, get a life. What are you doing? Why are you playing video games?" It's like this enriches my life. It's not a bad thing
Yeah.
inherently.
I also
There's
don't
always got to be limits.
I also don't play video games a whole lot unless I'm playing with somebody. Most of my
I
video game time
yeah.
is social time.
Yeah, that's the same for me. There are like one or two games that I can play on my own and be okay, but otherwise it's I'm playing for 30 minutes and I'm like, what am I doing? I could go freaking I need to go do something else because I'm an adult.
Right. There's a book that recently came out that I've been reading from Jonathan Haidt, and he's one of the guys that got me into social science as a topic. And he wrote The Righteous Mind and The Coddling of the American Mind, which are two of some of my favorite books. And he recently came out with The Anxious Generation. And he's a social scientist, and he was going into like how well the book title really explains it. The Gen Z is the anxious generation and why. And pretty much, long story short, smartphones and social media are the devil. And he doesn't like video games either. And I
Mm,
kind of don't really agree with his point of view on that, because his reason for not liking video games are completely valid, and I get it. But one of the things he says children need is conflict. Like if children are out playing and they play like soccer, they need to learn how to get into verbal conflict with their friends. Like I kicked the ball, it's like, oh, that went out of bounds. Wait, no, it didn't. You no, you're wrong. That type of stuff. That's
yeah.
really really good for personal development. And his reason for not liking video games is that doesn't exist because the games tell you the rules and the game determines the rules and there is no conflict to be had, which I completely disagree with. I grew
Depends on the
up
game, yeah.
exactly. I grew up with my social most of my social life being in video games, and the amount of conflict resolution in video games is still vast. You learn to get in fights for sure. It's just not in person, which is something to
Yeah.
be said. So he has a pretty pessimistic view of video games, which I disagree with. But his overarching enemy really is social media, and he 100% back if our second ever episode we talked about should parents monitor their social media.
Good episode.
That
Check it
idea,
out.
yeah, check it out, check it out, check it out. That idea was pretty inspired by The Coddling of the American Mind, and he 100% is on board of no phones before 16.
Mm.
Like he's deep into that. And we talked about that, and I'm not all the way through this book yet, but I think we ended that episode with pretty much we're both kind of inconclusive. Pretty much
Yeah.
we don't know. As I started it with I kind of made that same point. I don't think kids under 16 should be on social media, is what I think I said. But what that does is just causes them to want it more. But he brings up that development in your brain during puberty is way, way, way more important than it is after puberty. Like the part of your brain that regulates impulse control and like when to stop something is not developed at that age, which is why you shouldn't have it before 16. And that benefit probably outweighs the negative of them wanting it more during that time, because when they actually get it after that time, their brain's gonna be a lot more developed and they're gonna be able to make actually better decisions. Which I
Theoretically, yeah.
can, yeah, on paper, yeah. Which I can, that makes sense. I can get behind that idea.
Well, and the whole, I think, I don't remember exactly, but I think my takeaway from that was it's the parents have to be involved in social media in some way, because you can't just throw your child into the wild west of social media that
Right.
has been proven time and time again to only turn out poorly. But at the same time, though, just saying no doesn't really prepare for anything.
Also right. That was
So
one of the concerns that I had, is that they won't have any. Again, I'm biased because I grew up from day zero with a computer, not a phone, but a computer, and I was online. I started my first online experience with other people was freaking Roblox. Actually, I started playing Roblox in
uh,
2008,
that was
and
probably about the time I started playing it too.
yeah, that was my first ever online experience with other people. And it's like I grew up on this stuff, and I feel like I turned out better than most of these anxious people.
Facts.
Yeah, anxious facts.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I was connected at a young age. I was, for the most part, like, I had a phone and I could text my friends or call my friends,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, I wasn't online. I didn't have any online friends. And it was just something like, I don't know. I think I never wanted to participate. I never liked the group mindset of social
Yeah, me
media.
too. I don't think there was ever a time that I can remember where I didn't look at a selfie and think it wasn't cringy. And that's what.
Picture of yourself, ill.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't. I think we just are of the, I don't know, minds. I think we just have the correct minds to be able to grow up on that and
I'll
not turn out like shit.
just stop there. We have the correct
Yeah,
minds.
objectively, no. We have minds that are built in a way to where something like that isn't going to get to us very well.
I have also noticed in myself that I'm very turned off by fakeness,
Oh
by
my
like
god.
the facade of things.
Yeah, me too. And that's what
I
mostly
get
social, that's what social media is. But here's the
there.
thing. If we were 13 years old and couldn't comprehend that, like that the people posting on Instagram are not actually on a yacht all the time, you know, would that get to you? I don't know.
Would we at 13 be like, I want a yacht? Is that what you're asking?
In essence, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. What does the impressionable mind think?
I
It's
mean,
a
I didn't
mystery.
think that because I thought that was cringy, but
Yeah, yachts are cringy. You heard it here first.
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like at least for me personally, I had family that, I knew was not having a good go of it in their home lives, but then still would post every day about their wonderful, special, loving family. And I was
Oh
just like,
yeah, that
what are you doing, dude?
that'll
Like,
turn you
come
off
on.
to it pretty quick if you actually see the both sides of it and see how different one side is from the other, the online side versus the actual side. That would put a pretty good perspective onto what most people are probably doing, and that most people are just, you know, posting bullshit that ain't real.
Yeah. And then one application said, I'm gonna fix this and I'm gonna make people show the real selves, their real lives. And that application was called Be Real.
What?
Do you remember Be Real? I think that's what it was called.
Be
I think
real?
let me verify this.
No, I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Yeah, I think it's still going. Yeah, it's still a thing. Be Real
Be
came
real.
out.
I only know Truth Social. I don't know about this
Exactly.
Be Real.
So Be Real came out and it got really popular a couple years ago. And the whole premise was we're not doing any of this fake posting, bunch of Photoshop bullshit. What we're doing is at a certain time of the day, you're getting a notification on your phone and you have 3 minutes
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever
yeah, yeah.
to post
Okay.
a selfie.
Yeah, I've heard of this. Yeah, you
Yep.
have it tells you when you're going to take a photo and you either do in its given time without notice or you don't.
Or you
Post
don't.
anything.
And then there's, and here's where my problem started with this. You either I think it was, yeah, you have the allotted time, just go ahead and snap a picture and make a quick, like, this is what I'm doing right now. I'm going to the bank or whatever, random thing. But then post you could postpone that to later in the day and give you time to prep and make some social media bullshit. And then it would just say like edited later than the 3 minute allotted time or whatever. It would say something like that in the corner.
Oh,
So then most of the most popular posts were those things that had time to be posed for and edited and shit. That
that's
was my problem with
freaking
it.
stupid.
Yeah, it was so
What's the
stupid. It
point of the
was like,
damn app?
yeah, that was my whole problem with it. Was I was like, it's a cool concept. So it's just like even famous people just genuinely show what's going on, even if it's lame, just show it. And then they gave that option. I think still as a premise, it's cool,
I think it's
but
cool. If it were me, if I'm going to show stupid shit that no one cares about, I'm not going to show anything at all. I'm just not going to download the app. But,
right.
if you really insist on getting your personal life out there as we're recording a podcast about us, then I guess you can.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I would be interested in that. Just like if you if you really were a big fan of somebody that was really famous, and all you see is their like social
Yeah,
PR
that
posts,
could be really interesting for someone that is in public light a lot.
yeah,
But
because
for
like all
like,
you see on their Instagram and on their Twitter is shit that their PR team has put out. I mean, it's like,
right.
and you're not seeing them. You're seeing pictures of them, but you're not seeing them as they really are.
No.
And not that on Be Real, they're probably still gonna in their caption at least think about their PR, but you're getting a little bit more of a true, like, just like a buddy of yours posting a selfie just cuz,
Yeah.
and that's a cool idea.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. I imagine, well, given the fact that I had to be reminded what it even was, it probably isn't super popular, but
Well, because nobody wants to be real.
no.
Nobody wants that. That's
People
not,
people want to pretend,
yeah.
and they want to see other people that are pretending.
And look at us. We are experts and we know these things.
Yeah, we're actually PhDs in this.
I'll put it this way. From what I've seen from social media, I feel, and I have seen in my own personal life, that it's not a correct portrayal and people don't enjoy having their like normal ordinary lives on display. Which fair enough, but to which I would say, well then just don't put any of your life on display, fake or real. But
Yeah, if you don't want your ordinary life on display, then why do you want your a life that isn't even real on display? Well, I know why, because they want people to think higher of them and to think that
yeah.
they're cool.
which
which
is
makes me
w- which
sick.
which circles back to another social media platform that I do really enjoy,
Truth
and that
Social. Where
a
here's where it's at.
true and that's what I was gonna say was Reddit.
Oh,
Reddit, I think,
is a
is a
forum
great.
site? Can it really be considered a
Well,
social media?
what I was gonna say, well, it is social media, but it so takes identity. It takes the user's identity kind of out of the equation,
Right. Well, yeah,
and
it's anonymous. Yeah.
yeah, it's more or less anonymous. I mean, you can have like certain users that are more popular than others, but it may be, but that's not really a part of it. It's all about the
It's all about the media part.
yeah. Which I mean, maybe you could argue that's not a social media site. Maybe you argue that yeah, it's only a forum site, which is not social media for whatever reason. But
Reddit's a
regardless,
pretty freaking social media-ified forum site.
I mean, yeah, because you have like, I mean, yeah, there's so many kinds of layers of things. You have different, um, like you have the mods, and people can be modded in this way and that way, and then you have just certain users that are like known in their respective communities.
Mm-hmm.
Which I mean, it's going to be the same in any kind of forum site. But what is a forum other than a social media tailored to one specific thing? You know, it's its own hub of social media.
Right. I guess. I mean, most forum sites aren't as focused on media, like images and videos and stuff, as Reddit is.
Right.
Most
Right.
forum sites are text based.
Yeah. When you think, yeah, with the general thing when you think of a forum is you think of long text threads.
Yeah, which Reddit
Yeah.
has, but it's
Yeah.
significantly more media focused than other forum sites.
Right.
That's why
And you,
it's yeah.
that's one that I really enjoy because it gets back to, well, like, at least the way I use Reddit. I use it to follow my hobbies
Mm-hmm.
and consume media revolving around my hobbies.
I use
I was
it
actually
as for that and as well as a tool because there are disc trading disc golf disc
yeah,
trading sub reddits, and
yeah,
there's the r/ build a PC sales. You
dude,
find some
goaded,
bangers on there, and there's r/
goaded.
hardware swap, which is basically the disc trading but for computer components. Like there's some good stuff on there.
There's also a lot of porn,
There's a lot of porn,
dude. It's a one-stop shop for
and
everything
there's
you might ever need.
like gore subs and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Let's go.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there was child porn subs too before they got taken down.
Oh, that's interesting that that happened.
Reddit was the
I would
Wild West. It's
Reddit is still kind of the Wild West.
it's less Wild West than it used to be, but it's still pretty there's not much that's going to get taken down on that.
Right. I have seen some um thing like subs get like quarantined and stuff. I've noticed that. It's not as much as a thing anymore. Like I don't know. I don't even remember what subs it was, but I noticed like there was a list of subs that I saw online that were all like quarantined or getting banned or something.
Huh.
And I don't know what they were actually about. I don't know if it was like a censorship thing or they were actually doing something dangerous or illegal or something. I don't know.
Well, I'm pretty sure there's still like cartel execution videos up on Reddit.
Oh, I would not be surprised.
And I know there's like Ukraine war stuff going on. I'm pretty sure there's entire subs for that
Yeah.
of like dudes that are just at the war posting on Reddit of this Russian that they just blew the head off or something.
I mean, all that to say, whatever you're into, it's
Yeah,
on there.
yeah.
You got
Reddit
that.
has something for just about if you want to find a vacuum fucking subreddit, and I don't mean like a vacuum subreddit. I literally mean a vacuum fucking subreddit. That probably
Damn,
exists.
I'm sure it does. I was trying to put it into perspective, like with my girlfriend. Like last night, actually, I was like, how much there is on Reddit, and she was just like, "Well, I don't know. Like, I just have like Pinterest or whatever." And I'm like, I was like, "Well,
I've
I use
never given a damn about Pinterest. I don't give a damn about
I don't
Instagram,
under
but Pinterest even less. Those are
I don't understand it. Like
yeah.
I don't know what you do.
Is
What
it
do you
like
do?
Instagram? I've always compared it to Instagram, but I
I
said
don't
that and
know.
realized that I don't actually know if that's true, if it's like the same.
Well, let me say this. So I was talking, and she I think was asking like what Reddit is or what I do with it, and I was just like, well, I use it to follow my hobbies, and she said, well, that's what I use Pinterest for, and I was like, well,
Hmm.
like I was like, okay, she's reading a book series right now, and I was like, well, what's the name of the author? What's the name of the author? And so I did it. So I typed it into Reddit, and I was like, sure enough, there's a 70,000 plus uh size community for this one author, and I was just
Yeah.
like, see, look, I mean, there's 70,000 people that also like the thing you like, and they're all posting memes about it and everything. And she looked at a couple memes and was laughing, and I was like, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm
That's what
talking about.
Reddit's about. That's what Reddit's about.
Like like I've talked about my friend Shannon before to you, and how she likes things that are cute and cuddly and all that. And I was like,
Whoa, my
an
God, the
un
amount of things on Reddit for that.
there are an unending amount of
Whew.
cute animal kinds and cats and dogs and pigs and all kinds of animals
Nature
that
is
you want that
metal.
are just cute. That's the one. That's the one that you want to go
I
to.
don't think she would like that one.
No, that one's a bit scary. But like eye bleach, isn't eye bleach
Oh
one
my
of the
gosh,
ones
yeah, eye
that's
bleach is there's so many like that's just a cute picture subreddit. I'm on r/cats and r/chonkers,
chonkers? Let's
which is
go.
specifically fat cats. That's a good one. r/cats can be funny. It's a lot of I've debated leaving it because it's still turning into just a lot of people posting like, yeah, my cat died and like, oh, my cat's sick. What do I do? And are my cats fighting and stuff like that I don't care about. But
Exactly. That's a good. I just sent you a good
eye
representation
bleach.
of eye bleach. I'll put it in the video as well. Look at the little puppy. Look at the puppy.
Yeah.
Oh, what a cutie. I love that. That makes me so happy. But like that's the kind of social media I get behind. The we're just talking about certain things, and if you don't care about certain things, just don't we don't talk about them here. This is
But
not
that's the
that
thing.
community.
Reddit has been doing more of a thing that I don't like, which is suggesting stuff. Just
Yeah,
suggesting stuff.
stop suggesting things to me.
Yeah, it adds like things that you might be interested in, and it does the same thing as every other social media site where
Oh,
if you
yeah.
hover, if you watch a video for like a little bit long enough, or you look at an image for a little bit long enough, or you click into it and look at the comments of a sub that you're not in, it'll immediately start recommending that sub a lot, like a lot. And
Mm.
it gets a little bit annoying, but
Yeah, I have noticed that, and I have to do that whole like show fewer posts like this, and it's just like, well, you don't like this post or this community? This community, why is it on my homepage?
yeah.
And they're like, okay, and then 5 videos later, it's the same thing.
I swear that's just a facade for on social media. If you like show me less of this, it's a facade. It's a it's a
Just
it's an
they just
illusion.
bank that data that you don't like it, but then still push it because they're
Yeah,
still being paid to push it.
right. Dude, Snapchat? Dude,
Oh, ugh.
Snapchat news stories is the worst offender of this. Snapchat news stories. I hate Snapchat, first of all. Let me preface this. I freaking hate Snapchat. I hate it. The only reason I have it is because I have like a 1,600-day streak with an old friend. That's it. That is the only reason I have it. The Snapchat news stories, when you swipe to the right, are the literal most cancerous brain rot you can find on the internet. The
Right.
titles are so much clickbait, trash. The thumbnails are always a pair of tits or an ass every time.
And I hate that.
Literally, okay, I'm gonna do this right now. I'm gonna put this in front of my camera. All right, let's go to Snapchat. Ah! I just swiped over just now. Hold on, let me bring up my video so I know what I'm showing here. All right. That's the first one. All right, what's next? Let's scroll one thing down. One thing down. Does any of that look like something worth tapping on? Okay, that guy might. That guy might. But let's go down. All right, next. The next three are just fucking clickbait. Two women in bikinis, a chick with looking at a censored thing, and a hot chick in the gym. All right, let's scroll one more down. All right, there's another thing that might be worth clicking on right there. That's a freaking huge dude. All right, anyway, you get the point.
Hey, I'll accept half naked men, but not these half naked women.
Exactly. So it's just brain rot. The titles mean nothing. Like, what's one that shows up a lot? Like, the titles are always alluding to something sexual. Always, even if like it's not. And sometimes the titles just straight up lie. Like,
Right.
So there's a guy named Bradley Martin and a gal named Sarah Safari. They're both like gym people, I think. And the amount of times that I've seen like Brad and Sarah make it official titles, and then it's just like there's nothing actually relating to that because they're just friends and they've never dated. And
That's
you know what?
stupid.
I'm the fool here because I have tapped into him a few times and gone through him.
Oh god,
I'm
now
the
they'll
real
never
fool.
let you go. Once you show interest one time, you're done.
But yeah, right. The reason I brought this up, it's a facade. I just opened the Call of Duty app on accident. It's a facade.
Sick, let's play.
So no matter how much I freaking hold on this and tap, hide this content, yes, it never goes away. It always comes back. I swear to God.
Yeah.
It always comes back.
I mentioned this to you the other day, but like I have a bunch of just random creators on Snapchat that I'm now apparently subscribed to. When I never watched those.
That I have that's not happening to me. It's not subscribing me to people. That's not happening.
Well, like I genuinely get notifications now. Like I just got one a little bit ago. I get notifications for these Snapchat content creators that I've literally never heard of.
Yeah, Snapchat is just I hate it. It's just cancer.
Yeah,
Literal
it's
trash.
cancer. Yeah, trash cancer. You right.
If you're somebody that actually values yourself, then you have a moral obligation to hate Snapchat. Objectively.
Objectively.
Yeah. I like to be throwing that word around a lot. Objectively.
It do be that way. Objective. Yeah. I use Snapchat. I'll be honest. I use Snapchat as a communication platform, like as an extension of like text messaging.
Yeah, me too. Which I prefer to just text message because I'm an adult. But it is nice that
That was aggressive.
yeah, it is nice just like specifically for media. If you just like record a quick video and just send it to someone and it doesn't like save to your phone or anything like that.
No, that is
Or
really
like
nice.
it's really quick with like images and stuff. And you don't have to like take an image and send it to someone and then go back and delete it out of your camera roll because it's wasting space.
Or like GIFs or GIFs, Jiffy Stop, whatever they're called. But yeah, like with those, I send those a lot in like my Snapchat groups, and we like communicate via GIFs a lot of the times. But then like you and I text, so sometimes I want to send you a GIF, but it's so less convenient and it like is not as intuitive.
Yeah, Google Keyboard has
It's
GIFs.
it's just not as good. But yeah,
that's
one thing.
I don't use GIFs. I wouldn't know that
for
one.
me, for media texting and stuff like that, it's Snapchat is incredibly good.
Right.
Which is funny because the whole like premise of it, if we're being honest with ourselves, the entire idea of Snapchat and the whole delete immediately and when you send something is because of nudes. That's why it exists and existed ever. But I don't know if people obviously still use it for that, but people just now kind of adopt that in their day-to-day life, like temporary texting and stuff is now just the norm.
Yeah, I mean Snapchat's the only. I don't know if I'm weird in doing this, but I'm sure most people don't when I get a new Snapchat contact, immediately the first thing I always do is set it to do not delete texts before 24 hours.
I think most people do
You think
that.
most people do that?
I think most people have that. Um,
The amount of
because
times before I started doing that, I've been doing that for years, but before that period, the amount of times that one or the other party would say like, I don't remember what I said in response to something. Like they would ask a question, you would answer, and then they would come back the next day being like, well, I don't know what I asked. So I don't know what that answer is about. That
so
happened constantly.
my absolute biggest pet peeve about Snapchat, and this is it right here, other than all the other pet peeves that I have that are probably bigger than this, but my absolute biggest pet peeve about Snapchat, and it's not even Snapchat, it's the people on it. The people that make plans on Snapchat
What do you
or
mean?
like like something that's a couple days in advance or something, and they'll just like make a plan either via the text or via the snaps that delete like immediately,
Yeah.
and they make plans on those, and then you have no record of them ever. I mean, unless you put them into
Oh.
your calendar. That pisses me off so much because there have been so many times where like, and again, this part's on me. I forgot to put it in my calendar, but I go back to like revisit the chat and be like, okay, what was said here? And it's been over 24 hours and it's gone.
Yeah.
It's out of there.
I honestly don't like that at all. I hate having stuff delete after a certain amount of time. Unless it's
Yeah. And
media. Like I said, it's convenient if you're just trying to shoot a quick video or image. But
granted, you can save chats on there.
yeah, but no one's gonna go out of the way to tap every text message,
Yeah.
except the people that do.
I will do it if somebody refuses to text and they only want to use Snapchat and we're making plans that are several days in advance that I need to think about.
You'll tap to
I'll
save.
just like I'll just like tap to save like one or two texts that exactly say that. Or if it like they send me like well like hell like when my girlfriend and I started seeing each other she sent me the door code to her apartment over to
Yeah,
Snapchat,
that's
and
something you'd save.
I knew I was gonna need that, so I just saved that chat. I think it's still in there actually. I live here now, but you know, if I ever need it, it's right there from like 2 years ago.
Well, you won't need it here soon.
No, yeah, I'm moving. I texted the guy. So for everybody that's listening, who cares, which is nobody, because it's my own personal living situation. I am moving to
I
another.
like how we just premise. We always premise personal stories with
Nobody's gonna care
with
about this.
yeah. So if there actually ends up somebody that is going to care, stop. We're
Yes.
asserting you're not caring upon you now.
Simply stop caring. This is my own personal life, and you shouldn't be interested in it. No. Anyway, yeah, I texted the guy and I was like, "Well, listen, can we like see this unit that we're gonna be going into? Because I don't even know like what it is and stuff." And he was like, "Yeah," and I haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I'm supposed to be moving here in like a month, and I don't know anything about it. Isn't that
That's
cool?
really good.
Yeah.
Good and proactive.
I'm trying to be on top of this. I'm like, hey, can we, like do a walkthrough? Can we like this is the unit we want. Let's do it. And he's just like, yeah, you right.
That's unhelpful.
It is. It's a nice place. We figured out. I think the last time you and I talked about it, I told you I didn't know where it was. We ended up finding the
I don't know
neighborhood
where
it's
I'm
in.
moving.
I didn't. That's the thing. I didn't. And he didn't freaking say anything. He was just I only knew kind of where it was because my former boss recommended the guy to me, and
Right.
he told me where he lived, which would obviously be in the same like little neighborhood. But he didn't even tell me very much. He was just like, around this street and this street. And I was like, sick. Okay. And I tried looking it up and there's nothing online for it. So we just went driving around one day, like within the last week, and we were just like, let's see if we can just find this neighborhood. And we did. And it's really nice, and there's a lot of really nice areas, and um, the units are very um, very well put together, it looks like, at least from the outside. I've seen interior pictures, but
That's
not
good.
exterior, or
One
not like I didn't see exterior shit.
one thing that me and my roommate didn't consider when moving here was we are like a couple of blocks away from an ambulance center. And if somebody's like hurt in our city, we know about it. We know about it before
Or
they know about it. Like,
we have the scoop.
yeah, because it seems at least every hour or two there is a ambulance blasting past our house. Sometimes with a lot of other loud cars accompanying it. So
Yeah,
it's
loud vehicles. Yeah.
yeah. So that kind of sucks. But we've been living here for like 3 years, and
That's
the
wild.
thing about that is that we haven't had our rent raised, but the price of rent in general has skyrocketed in the last 5 to 6 years.
I mean,
So
that's the thing, yeah.
yeah,
If you've got a landlord that isn't raising your rent, you might as well stick
right.
around.
And this like wasn't that good of a price when we got it. But
Yeah.
now it's we don't really want to go anywhere because everywhere else is more expensive. So
My buddy Ryan, I've told you about Ryan. Um, he's in a similar situation. He's been with at his place for years and years. And they just don't raise the rent on him, or very much anyway. And he's at last I think he said something blasphemous, like for his entire he rents like a home, like a full home,
yeah.
kind of like you guys do.
Mhm.
And he was paying like 7 or 800 bucks a month or something.
What?
Yeah. I think he said maybe 7 or 750. It was like not very expensive. And he
Total?
told me that, yeah, or I mean, maybe not including utilities, I don't
Okay.
know. But, let's get him on the podcast. I don't know.
Uh,
Yeah, like, he told me that, and I was like, "Dude, if I could find that right now, I would hop on that so fast." He was
yeah.
just like, "Yeah, I'm not moving." Like, he was like, "I don't really love the neighborhood I live in, it's, like, fine. It's just, like, whatever. I would like to live somewhere else, but not, when the prices are like this."
Right.
And the reason I brought that up is because his landlord has said to him, "Well, you pay your rent on time. You don't trash the place. I want to keep you." So maybe it's a similar situation. I don't know.
Yeah, we
Just if you just make your payments, people are like, "Well, I don't want to raise the price and risk driving you out, and then somebody else comes in that won't pay the rent."
that is make me wonder how much bullshit the landlords go through because our neighbor, who I believe is under our same landlord, in the time we've been here, we've had let's see, one, two, three, I think 5 neighbors,
Jesus Christ.
four maybe 4 or 5.
4 or 5 in 3 years.
Yeah, one
That's
of which
actually
was here
wild.
for less than 3 months.
Jesus.
So like, how much? Because the landlord's got to like fix some shit, deal with some shit in between tenants.
Right.
So I wonder how much just like bullshit they go through.
I don't know. I will say one thing that gives me hope that the new place landlord guy is kind of cool is because I told you my boss set me up with this guy. My boss, former boss, um, had cats and rabbits, and the rabbits would chew through the carpet,
Woo!
like just straight up just chew through them. And I guess the landlord, just like would replace the carpets, and no, it's like whatever. Swear to God, that's what he
What?
said. He was just yeah. My former boss was talking about it, and he was just like, yeah, like because I was bringing up that we have cats, and one of them has been pissing on the floor, and I hate that, and we have to shampoo the carpets literally like all the freaking time to get on top of it. And I was bringing it up like I just hate like I know that you've showed me pictures of your place and it's got carpet in the living room and I'm worried about that because I don't want to I don't want to bring this problem into a new home. And he was like, well, not that it's a solution, but I'll tell you that my rabbits have routinely chewed through carpet, and he just replaces it, and it's like whatever. And I was like, how? That's wild.
That's
That's wild.
crazy.
That's wild that he's just like, oh, carpet's dead. It's fine. Yeah, just get a new one in there.
That's like, I mean, you move out with that and your security deposit's gone.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, but I don't. But I'm pretty sure he was saying that he like didn't take away the security deposit and shit too.
Well,
He's like
what does he
he
got?
just like
What I
replaced
wonder
it.
what the what he's got to do to get the security deposit taken away? Blow up the
I don't.
facility?
That's what I was wondering. I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, that gave me a little bit of hope, like, okay, well, not that we're gonna fix this issue as best we can, but also if in the event that it doesn't get fixed because cats are stupid, at least the guy's chill. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. My God, our landlord, I think, is probably a sexist.
Nice.
he
Let's go.
he so when we moved in, he seemed 99% of the talking was on my roommate's side, who is female, and he seemed like a really nice guy talking to her.
They do that sometimes.
Yeah. And when I tried to get internet installed into the house, the Adams fiber optic guy came to the house and he had to call the landlord to figure out like where he'll allow maybe like a little hole to be drilled or whatever, just Wi-Fi stuff.
As you do.
And the landlord was the biggest freaking dickhead asshole to this guy I've ever seen. Like he was such a jackass to the fiber guy. And the dude was
Hmm.
the guy was being like nice, asking like normal ass questions. Freaking our landlord wanted to have the Wi-Fi in an enclosed closet in the kitchen. That was after he suggested that it goes in the basement.
Yeah,
Wi-Fi
you're not supposed to do that.
in the basement. Like what? No. Eventually there was a already installed hole in the living room for, I think it was a landline wire that we just repurposed. And we got it worked out. But holy cow. Like I haven't seen him actually be nice to a dude, but he's nice to at least my female roommate. So
Yeah.
maybe he's sexist. I don't know.
S-
Because of
Sexism
that,
do
we've been leaving most of the talking to her instead of me, just so we can get our way.
sexism do be working that way sometimes, where they're just overly nice to the opposite sex, but it's sexist.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because of the reasonings for it. It's not. It's not an upstanding reason. They're just weird.
Trying to get their
And
dick wet.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's one way to put it bluntly. Yeah,
That's one way of men being bitches is when they're trying to get their dick wet.
yeah. Yeah, I've known so many men like that that will like goddamn bend over backwards for women that
Oh
who
my
could absolutely
God.
could not want any less to do with them.
Yeah. Those men are literal. God, I cannot stand men like that.
See, here's you got to
They
take
have
this
no
approach.
spine, no backbone.
You got to
Yeah.
take this approach, right? This is the approach right here. Everybody sucks at all times,
Yeah.
and there's no reason to do anything for anyone because everyone's terrible.
You're here first.
Uh,
Be a
it says
self-centered asshole.
it says so in the Bible.
You're right. Your body is a temple.
Your body's a temple, and let no one else in.
Yes. Let no one inside your body temple
Unless you're married to him,
unless you're married to him. Unless you're married
and then
to
let
him.
him and then let him inside as much as you can.
But if you're Catholic, only for the purposes of reproduction.
Now, listen, we already had a religion episode. We don't need we don't need another one of those.
Dude, Colin from Dick's Sporting
Yeah.
Goods,
Yeah.
he was Catholic, and
I remember this. Yeah.
yeah, there is only two people being inside each other for the purpose of making a third person. That is it.
And that's what he believed, like 100%.
He might have believed that 100%, but I mean, ain't no way he acted upon those beliefs.
No.
Actually,
That guy fucks.
yeah, Colin fucks.
Colin, if you're listening to this, you fuck.
You fuck. Yeah.
I made fun of him a lot for being Catholic because I'm a problem starter.
So did I.
is the
So
reason.
did I. Dude, it's so funny. Like, it's not the part that it's not him being Catholic that's funny. It's just like the absurdities of the Catholic religion that are sometimes funny.
Yeah.
It's like that one. Like, yeah, no sex, only missionary for the purpose of reproduction. That's how at least that's how I've freaking understood it. I had another Catholic family friend that their whole family was the same way. They ended up getting a divorce, but
Yeah. Well, they're Catholic. That it tends to happen
that tends to happen to most, regardless.
to most people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Back in the day, though, talking about Colin, back in the day, I was a lot more religious back then than I am now.
And you still
my-
made fun.
Well, because I was, well, I mean, I don't know what exact denomination, but I was Protestant, of the Protestant branch
Yeah.
of Christianity, and I never really had a lot of nice things to say about Catholics. It's fine. It's Catholicism is fine. If you're a Catholic,
I've never had nice things to say about the Catholic Church.
Right.
Not just literally specifically the actual church structure, not the church as a people, but literally the church structure and the pews.
The organization of the church.
Yeah.
The church that as it is an organization. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never liked that very much.
But I'd be talking to Colin, and he'd say something, Catholic-y, he'd say something Catholic like, and I would literally just, me and the height of my Protestant days, I'd just be like, "You fucking Catholics." he'd be like, "What? What are you talking about?" I'd be like, "You heard me, you fucking piece of shit Catholic."
This is the tribalism that needs to die.
It does. I'm not like that anymore. Now I say bad things about all religions.
Yeah,
at all
now
times.
I'm better. I say bad about everyone instead of
really
thinking
pained.
I'm righteous.
I'm really painting myself in a bad light this episode.
Yeah, you really are.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm here. I'm tired, and I want to watch the world burn. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, let's watch the world burn, but not on this podcast any longer because we're at like an hour. So
We're hitting time.
yeah, we're hitting time. Maybe it wasn't the best note to end on religion and Catholics, but you get what you get.
If you're Catholic, let us know what you
If
think.
you're Catholic, let us know. Drop down in the comments below. Tell us do you only have sex, missionary, to make a baby? Yeah. All right.
Exactly.
We'll talk at you next week.
See ya.